a bit.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with SF, but like, if you're picking, like, usually people pick some spirit hero here that's like uncounterable or whatever, you know. And I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking Tier would be nice, but she's kind of counterable. How has Shadow Fiend become this hero that's like, yeah, he's cool, he doesn't get countered too hard, we can just pick him whenever, like.
He counters himself. I feel
Yeah, right.
These
like,
SF carry SFs just keep losing. I'm not.
yeah,
I don't know. Part of me is like
I don't like it.
SF.
In his defense, though, you've seen the teams, and when the first pick SS, right, which is when you see what teams think that counter him. Usually, the countering comes from a decent laner in the mid lane, but that's not a hard counter. It's actually the supports. You pick rotational supports that can go and punish him in the lane, particularly with some kill potential in lane. And you already know the enemy supports that are in Bane, which is okay. And not Spirit Breaker. Like Team Spirit destroyed this with Spirit Breaker, right? Disruptor Bane,
Isn't Mars going to be good against a carry SF though? Like
I would think so as well, but also at this point,
I still don't fully understand this carry SF because it's such a new thing. And yeah, there's been maybe like 10 or so games of it in the DPC, which is quite a lot, but it still seems very it hasn't been fully explored.
He's a tall hero. Maybe you can hit over the arena. Who knows?
Whoa, it's next level, bro. I mean, Lena's just she's just gonna. Yeah, she'll be fine and happy against like SF's okay because he's like Lena. They kind of do the same thing where if they're both mid, they're just gonna shove the lane out with their spells and then go farm small camp, and they're just gonna like power farm really hard. And I don't see either supports on either team like doing like a really impactful rotation that secures a kill for either of them. Team Unique, if they manage to get Bane there to like set up a sleep, then yeah, SF will die. And they do have, like, if it's a Bane 4, I don't know what they're going to do. But if it is Bane 4, Mars is, like, a hero that can lane by himself. He's, like, happy to be left alone for that time if they want to rotate. I don't see it from HellRaisers, especially with Tree. Weaver's not got any sort of control for SF to, like, actually hit his raises against a ranged hero.
Yeah, it's
they seem to think it's SF carry, so we may not be seeing any raises. We'll find out. It is going to be SF mid. They get Drow.
I've seen this, and I hate it.
SF Drow, and it sucked that game.
It sucked really hard.
And against some Mars again this game as well.
Because the Drow is actually like pretty good against Mars in lane.
In lane.
Yeah, she did get. I remember this patch where it was like a pretty common matchup, and Drow would kind of like mess up Mars. I think pros were like adapting, and they would go like Spear level 1 into Bulwarker level 2, just because it was so hard to lane against her. But then she got nerfed, and she's kind of seeing a little bit more picks now, but like I think they're sort of down to an even matchup where it's not that bad. And I'm worried because your SF and Drow are doing the exact same thing. If Unique pick a hero here that is able to just jump backline, like it seems really hard for HellRaisers to protect SF and Drow. Mars is already a hero that's going to do that.
I think that's the thing what they have going for them, the positive SF Drow, is that none of these 4 heroes are great at jumping the backlines, other than maybe the Mars. But if he's jumping by himself with no follow-up, it doesn't feel that scary. But I think there's plenty of carries that can be those jump backlines heroes. Any kind of.
I think Spectre instantly, but then I'm thinking, is that like something they don't want to pick because they're playing into Beastmaster? So I guess.
Yeah, maybe you just go a bit more standard with like a Wraith King with your
Wraith King's banned.
Yeah,
it's hard. I know Naga Siren was a hero that's likes playing into Beastmaster, but
not against Drow though. Well,
yeah, I'm not sure.
The carry that always stands out against Beastmaster, the high armor, other than PA, is the TB. But I don't think you want to play TB. Is not good into you'd rather that against the melee carry. So.
Yeah, but I wanted to point that out because yesterday we saw a game where this was a very similar matchup. It was SG versus Infamous, and they picked a Drow to counter TB, and you're like, oh, biggest counter, right? Big armor. She did zero, and I mean 0 auto attack damage to the TB that game because Mars blocked all her attacks. It became impossible for the Drow, and it could be the same thing. That's why I think TB is actually kind of fine here just because of the Mars.
Yeah, it definitely can be fine. It's just like your standard. You're drafting more to what's good for your draft rather than what counters the enemy. I think if you want to go counter them, you're looking at that like hero that jumps on top, but thinking there we go. They go the jump on top approach, and it's a good lane. I kind of forgot about the Ursa because we're talking about it for HellRaisers, but
I feel like his lane might be a little hard. I played Ursa Beastmaster matchup. Oh, okay. I don't want to talk about my pubs, but the way I see it playing out in my mind is that he finds it quite difficult to deal with like level 3 boars, but with Bane, maybe it's fine. Or
maybe Sioma, right?
Oh yeah, Sioma plays 5, right? Yeah, Disruptor, they could get a kill. It's just kind of scary because like Weaver and Beastmaster together just do so much minus armor and then like physical damage with the boars and everything just hurts. Everything hurts. Avo.
Everything does hurt.
But they don't have a way to cancel grip at least in fights, so I feel like Unique's team fight should be way easier to execute.
Odds, final statements.
I'm just feeling HellRaisers just because of how good they looked against VP. Like, even though I see their draft, I'm like, it's not. I don't. It has its weaknesses, but I think its strengths is something that HellRaisers can play really well around. Like, they have good ways to buff up both SF and Drow with Beastmaster Aura. They can snowball this, take a lot of towers, take Roshan. I'm slightly leaning them, but I don't think they necessarily have the better draft here.
We'll see what happens in game as we get into game number 2 of the series. I'm sad you missed game number 1, but this time we do get the wonderful casting of Lyrical and Trent.
Thank you so much, Avo. And yes, indeed, Trent, we are here. We've got the wonderful HellRaisers facing off against Team Unique. A little bit of a kerfuffle getting the game started, and there is already one match going into the favor of HellRaisers. So we'll see if they're going to be able to bounce back from that on Team Unique. But how are you feeling about these drafts?
I really like Unique's draft. I feel like once they get that Lena pick, I'm just like, you can pick anything at the end of this draft, and I'm pretty much satisfied right now. Whereas HellRaisers, this is the kind of draft where I look at them just like, oh god, why does your game just look so hard? Like, yes, I think they can do it, but it just seems so much more difficult in like every single way.
Right. You know? I'm with you. It feels like it's the type of draft, though, that, you know, they already got one forfeit win. Maybe if, you know, they snowball, they're just like, all right, easy series, done. And it'll be done super quickly because definitely this is the type of draft that's going to be able to take towers. Let's get ready to hop right into the game now, as already they're out across the map. And you can see Aldi back south as he runs into all 5 heroes. On the side of Team Unique, who you can see here are tagged up as mind games. So there was a little bit of an issue at the start of it, and what the tech issue was that they tried to change their name over. But on DPC broadcast, as you can see when you click on the top watch tab, they're already tagged up as what those 2 teams are that they're going to be playing. And if those 2 teams aren't in the game, they won't start the lobby, and that's what the issue was. So they had to go back and tag up as Unique, and that's what's happening.
So this is Mind Games versus HellRaisers. Well, that's
we're gonna call them Team Unique.
that is some actual mind games.
Oh my god!
Change your name to Mind Games and don't change your name to Unique on the flag because you can't.
Give up game number 1. The Mind Games.
I mean, people thought it was intense when people were doing like the blank bans. Oh, they didn't ban a hero. Oh my god!
Right.
Mind Games like, yeah, we won't play the first game.
Unreal. All right, we'll see how it goes for them. As already you can see the rotation down bottom there. Weaver is going to come and try and help out and put potentially a lot of pressure on. This is like the pain point, you know. Sheepo is talking about a lot of pain going on in this game for the poor rollers potentially. I could see it down bottom if they can start to put the pressure on with Weaver. It's such an incredibly strong hero with those bugs. The swarm is nuts.
Yeah, I'm not really convinced by the Disruptor pick. I thought that they might go Bane 4 to go for like an Ench and go like a hard counter versus the Beastmaster, but instead they've gone for more of a game counter in the sense of the Disruptor. Plus, I mean, it's Sioma the Slayer. This is like his best hero probably, Disruptor. This is the region's best hero, you know. Eastern Europe's been repping Disruptor since the start of Dota itself. And so I do have a lot of confidence in that, but I feel like the laning stage is typically something that you struggle with, whereas Weaver's like one of the best laners in the game.
Right. It's incredibly hard to deal with, but you need to get to that level too. As we can see, FN facing off there against Rebel in the mid lane. SF versus Lena, already taking the Dragon Slave and Fiery Soul, so trying to get any right clicks in whenever possible. And this is one of those matchups that it feels like it's going to be a whole heck of a lot of farming and spamming out waves whenever possible.
Yeah, this is the main match that makes me just say, like, why does your game look so hard? Because, like, Shadowfiend, I think they can get away with this and putting the SF into the mid lane because they have the tree. I think that the goal should be to just, like, push out the wave, farm neutrals, accept the fact that FN's going to hit your tower a bunch, but you need to be ready to get the early levels into the living armor to try and save this tower at, like, you know, 7, 8, 9 minutes, right? Be prepared to put a lot of safety into this lane because you don't want to lose your safe area, your mid lane tower so early.
True enough. You can see down bottom there, Gilgear going to lose the courier. Just went for the Sakuchian and didn't recognize that his courier was following him. Ends up getting punished a little bit down there by that. And in the meantime, you can see that up top lane, they're going to try and push back a little bit more onto Petishara. He threw out a spear there just to get some extra harassment on a Malady, but there is going to be that setup later on with that Nightmare into spear combo. And if Watson's not careful, that's always a little bit of a dangerous situation for him. As a little bit of multi-shot comboed together with the Nature's Grasp for some spam out. Nicely played.
It's very, very hard to harass in this lane, right? Because, like, when you know how to play versus tree, the tree player is just so sad. It's like a knowledge check whenever you lane versus this hero, right? Your lane is just so easy if they don't know how to play versus tree protector. Like, they're not just cutting the trees constantly. They're not like, you know, standing near the tree line and everything. It sounds really dumb, but like honestly, that's just, you just gotta put your brain on for a second, and tree just gets way worse. And then combine that with a drow, and it's like drow wants to harass when she feels safe doing so, and it's hard to guarantee that when the tree doesn't necessarily know when he should be going in right now.
Right. Oh, going for another courier down bottom.
Like look at him, like he's just like standing in the middle of the waves.
Yeah, they get the courier there, but they might be able to find another one. And tree up top, down dead. They find a kill as well as more action just all over the map.
Dude, he's lost. He just like, he walked in the middle of the lane trying to like help secure a range creep, I think, but I think he knew he was just dead. And sometimes I'm okay with throwing away the life, but I don't think for first blood.
Yeah, that one hurts, definitely. Should also mention, back in this mid lane here, pretty substantial CS lead. I think some of that is by virtue of the small camp, as again, trading off that nightmare. But you can see SF not actually that far ahead of FN. It looks like a bigger lead with the CS disparity, but that's the double stack on the small camp.
Yeah, also worth pointing out, they did get the D ward as well. They attempted to block off FN's camp there on the Radiant side, and they had the big brain plays there to ensure it was D warded early from Slayer. Because yeah, you know, Shadowfiend's gonna be looking for like an economy win essentially in the mid lane of just trying to like out eco you by running to the jungle, and they can double up on that by trying to block out your own small camp.
Ooh,
So
up
good
top
eyes on
again.
that.
Spear goes out. A couple more punches. Do they have enough to keep Watson alive? No tree armor yet. 2 points in Leech Seed. Melody has to back away again. So, nice kill.
Like, this is actually such a good thought process to have if you ever pick this Bane Mars early, is if they lock in what is pretty likely to be a 5 support and it's melee, this is just so much stronger, right? Because, like, there's no way he's going to be able to trade off that Nightmare in most of these situations.
Very difficult. I mean, yeah, and this is why, you know, I think you were talking about it, how much we've been seeing Bane and Mars together just being like an incredibly strong combo throughout this round of the DPC.
Yeah. I mean, it's Bane. Bane's broken. Bane was broken at TI.
Yeah.
Just got left alone. Poor little lad. Stupid horn toss had to be there, you know?
True enough. You know, it's
to really show off.
The thing that's funny is, like, we were talking about how much we thought that there was going to be a huge problem down bottom, but Ursa has completely dealt with this fine. And Petashara maybe going to be taking a little bit of too much damage. The right clicks come through. Nightmare going to be traded over. I'm not sure what exactly happened. It must have just been a misclick by Watson. He accidentally clicked onto his tree. That's the only thing that makes sense to me there.
I'm not sure. I was trying to look at the bottom lane.
Yeah, I think he just accidentally
Came back up and he was living.
He attack clicked and took the nightmare off of Malady. I think that he was attack clicking the or something like that. Rough stuff.
I mean, Gilgear's at that 1-1-1, but yeah, why isn't he able to just like bully Slayer right now? They have a ton of vision in the area, so they definitely know what he's up to. Would he rather just go mid? Oh, nice. He got the snipe on the ward mid, though. Gilgear just scouted it out by going into the tree line next to the tower. So throws down a sentry. That's going to show off that ward in the mid. So very well done. Rebel will be happy about that. And Gilgear is just out. Now, on the one hand, Limitless is getting full XP on the Beastmaster bottom, which is nice. So Beastmaster can eventually live his life in that bottom lane like he likes to. Perhaps they can get a kill up top instead.
That could be a nice play. Comes on over, checks for a bounty rune, won't spot it, but they do see Gilgear and now know that he's made this rotation. This is most likely not going to work out.
He body blocked the camp too, though, so yeah, there's something there.
Yeah. Love to see that. Well, thought about going again throughout the Leech Seed, but nothing else afterwards. So again, this 1-2-1 build for Malady means that the points on this the tree armor is going to be a little bit later to come around. At the very least, we've been able to see that Rebel, you know, even while farming up the camps across the map, is not really been taking that much damage onto the tower from the Linus. That's something, at least, for HellRaisers.
Yeah, and typically right now in DPC, I think a lot of teams have been like putting their 4 mid like right about now, and then heading to stacks in the jungle, ideally. But Tree obviously been pretty locked in up top, hasn't been able to get a couple stacks going at all. And likewise, the Weaver play, Gilgear hasn't been doing so much on his own side. They have some ancient stacks though, that's kind of nice. But I feel like you're just gonna see the 4 take over mid and SF just go farm, and it looks like that is indeed the plan.
Right. Yeah. Perfectly fine. Ooh, Invisrune though.
Oh yeah.
And also has Requiem.
He's getting out the Beyblade.
I don't know if it's
3,
gonna
2, 1, let him rip.
It took me. I was like, "What the hell is Trent talking about?" Didn't want to say anything though. Helm down bottom.
He really wanted that range creep. He just stole it from Limitless. Yeah, they're gonna put the tower pressure on. All right, so tower pressure versus tower pressure. You have a Train Protector. This should be a HellRaisers win.
Oh, only 2 points in the living armor though. Yeah, they're gonna be able to get the bottom tier 1, but then the question is, can they get back to protect tier 1 mid?
Yeah.
Most likely.
There's no way. They would throw all of their bodies for this tower right now. She only has 1 Laguna Blade, Lyrical. All right.
That's true.
Someone just tank it, and then we're good.
Malady, meanwhile, is getting pulled back in by Slayer. Pedushar in the area. Tree on tree now, and FN comes in for the finish.
All right, that seemed unnecessary.
A little bit. You know, get it off cooldown again soon.
It's fine. It's good time.
Interesting. Well, HellRaisers off to the type of start that you would anticipate from this team. And again, I feel like in the context of this game, it's worth considering, like, you know, this is sort of what's expected to happen to some extent, I think. As LSA is going to connect on a Rebel, but nothing else afterwards.
Yeah, I think HellRaisers have some very good stuff happening. Like the bottom lane being taken that quickly too, I think was one of the better aspects you pointed out. Like they didn't really dominate like kill wise or anything like that. They weren't able to punish the disruptor, which I think is a bit of a loss in that lane. But overall, you know, you've taken that space in the map that you like to as Beastmaster. That's good.
Ooh.
Now they'll think about Roche.
Okay. Requiem used.
DD
To
secured.
secure it, and they're going mid. Oh man, that is a big play. If they can get this one, Roar immediately on Alina. FN in trouble, and pummeled, getting brought down, raised and dead. Pedushar afterwards, trying to find a follow kill with Bignum on top of Rebel. They might be able to kill him off in time. The stick charge is trying to live. No, Rebel will go down. But can the rest of HellRaisers clean up? They've already lost 3 on Unique. The turnaround, trying to find the finish with the grip, but it's not enough. And 7 Jesu has to back out of there, has enraged still, as well as 15 stick charges. And that will be enough to get the Ursa away, but this tower still in trouble and going down.
Tree was 23 XP from 6. I think they get that kill if Tree has 6 there.
Do they lose this tower?
I think if SF's alive 100%, but yeah, no, I think it's dead. They can just commit. They're good. No one else is TPing.
Damn.
Oh, they all TP'd for the initial fight. That's why.
Right.
It's like Pedushar can't come right back in and everything. Yeah.
All right. HellRaisers, keep that snowball building. They need to keep this type of pressure up. And a solid finish there. Now trying to get towards BKBs, at least for the Shadow Fiend. Drow currently still building into that Dragonlance after the Falcon Blade for Watson.
So to me, one of the reasons why I view Unique's lineup as just being a little bit easier is that I feel like they have some outs in this situation. Like, to me, the Blink Dagger on Pedushar will be something where I'm like, oh, okay, well, you know, that's going to come up, and then it's much easier to make plays. It's up top. It looks like, Melly, I would hope this is free.
Has Laguna Blade. A couple more punches. Doesn't need it. Dragon Slave is there for the finish.
Got a little bit close. But unfortunately, Pedushar's Blink Dagger is really far away.
Yeah.
Like, he's gonna need some time, a little bit of space here. Some tower gold would also be nice, though, of course, as they still haven't taken one.
Oh, this is big though. If they can sneak away this Roche,
well, there's
in the
Hog.
area. Yeah, I mean they see all of it, but nobody's here in time. Nightmare afterwards, trying to finish this was on 7 Jesu. He gets bashed by Roche. They have the Disruptor ulti down though. Beastmaster trying to run in. They get the Aegis. Requiem afterwards though, Roar. And now the time lapse. Run back in with the buyback. But able to jump out of the pit. Ursa gets away. So they managed to sneak that Roche away. What a wild, like, action-packed series this is already.
For only one game, too. You know, 2 for the price of 1. It's amazing.
Holy
That
moly.
was terrifying. With Hawk being there, first off, that they managed to get that. Have to trade, but buy back on the Weaver, so the full gold isn't like too bad. And obviously, I think if HellRaisers get that Aegis, you're in serious trouble. Because Aegis on like double ranged cores,
Yes.
and you have to commit so hard for the fight, would be rather terrifying.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the situations where it's just more you're taking it away from HellRaisers and trying to slow down that snowball. And you gotta wonder, like, if HellRaisers had, after taking that mid tower, could they have just gone right into Roche maybe? Like, I don't know. Regardless, it didn't end up happening, and now some questions about how the rest of this game looks, and they found another one. They got themselves eyes on Malady, and the right clicks come through. Dead tree. Still only the top tier 1 tower taken by Unique.
Yeah, he got living armor off, so it's okay. Throw that down first. Respawn. Get that mid tower back up to full HP would be great.
And for Team Unique, do you think that they try and make a move towards mid with this Aegis still, or just sort of hang out and wait for BKBs to come online for like the Lina?
Yeah, I think FN is their biggest concern right now. They just want to make him feel more comfortable in these engagements and team fights. And then, of course, there's still going to be a concern because of the Beastmaster. Speaking of which, Big I'm looking for him.
Oh, glimpse away. They got him, though. Limitless in trouble. And going to find the kill, take down the Helmet Dominator creep afterwards.
Oh,
Bignum? Yeah, Bignum's super dead. Wait, maybe not. Maybe not. Oh, Nightmare. Time lapse gets away. Killgear's out of there.
Oh, you thought you had me, didn't you?
Interesting.
Some excellent voice line usage here from Big. I thought Bignum was guaranteed dead because he taunted first,
Okay, yeah.
He threw out the better luck next time as he's killing the Beastmaster, but this time the combo was not true.
Yeah. Well, that is how it ends up going. And a little bit of a timing here, possibly for HellRaisers with the arena on cooldown for a minute. But at the same time, like, with the Aegis still there on Ursa, it doesn't really feel that great to try and run into him.
Oh, Malady just doing the right play. Living armor constantly mid-tower. It's juicing itself back up there.
Yeah.
Probably still the main objective, I feel like, for Unique will be getting that down. But now mid-tower's up while your SF has BKB complete. Takes apart the Dragon Lance just to rush that thing out. I'm very happy about that, I'm sure.
Definitely. Malady gets down a good ward here as well around the tier 2 tower bottom. And it feels like this is going to be the goal for HellRaisers. Try and put some pressure on this tower.
Yeah, but look at Unique. BKB done for the Lina. Blink Dagger done for the Mars. Now, finally, Ursa can play some Dota, right? He needs a good arena so that he can actually get in here. Again, it's this double range core situation. And there's going to be a tough call for the Beastmaster. The Roar is going to be so clutch. Like, who do you go for? The Ursa, you have to worry about the Enrage, or the Lina, who's got that fresh BKB?
Oh, they're trying to queue it up. Oh, jumps immediately onto Limitless. Not sure if that's the play, as they will blow up one right at the start. Killgear dead. That's Aegis down, and now they got the Nightmare onto one. Roar afterwards onto the Lina. Needs to get that BKB off. FN turns, pops it, but afterwards rooted immediately. 7Jesu trying to chase down Limitless. Will find that kill. Watson hasn't been able to do anything this fight, it feels like, and now another round of Nightmares up again in a second. 7Jesu, Nightmare saved. Tries to get away, but it won't happen. 4 dead instantly. Watson got one round of those multi-shots off and everybody died.
That was nasty.
Ooh, the initiation of the arena, it went on top of the Beastmaster too, and he still got off the Roar, as y'all heard. And then it felt like Drown SF just stood off to the side.
And what I really liked was the instant Requiem that he threw out from Rebel, because it sort of just disrupted the whole fight, right? Like, if you don't target him first, he wants to put that pressure on you, and they all got sent back on Unique, broke apart the engagement from the very beginning. And that's what allows Watson and Rebel to just flourish as ranged damage dealers like that.
Yeah. Well, and it definitely has that feel again, like you imagine if maybe the Mars has a BKB there, or if the Ursa has a BKB there, the game starts to look like way differently, and they just need to buy that time on Unique to get into their items. But I don't know if HellRaisers are going to give them that time. Feels like taking that tier 2 tower, they're really setting this up to just like keep that pressure on, and particularly that next Roche fight is going to be so determinant of how the rest of this game goes.
Yeah, and now at this point in the game, you're getting to 20 minutes. Typically, you look towards like the position 4s, and that's when that big item for them comes out. You know, you're playing like Earthshaker 4 or something. You're hoping you got a blink around like now-ish, so you can really start contributing to the team and like add in this extra element that they need to be concerned about in team fights. Like, think about team fights as like a big collection of spells that you have to prioritize and think about like how the other team wants to play. You're supposed to be introducing that new threat at this point in the game is the position 4. But that's a, you know, we really for both teams, we don't have that kind of a hero in this game.
Right.
Disruptor is probably the closest thing, but the Agnums is so much further away than a Blink Dagger can be.
True. Well, is going to get roared right off the start. Seven Jesu trying to back out of here and hopefully will not get caught, but the silence as well as the overgrowth. Nice. That one hurt. Very nicely played.
He tried to, he pump faked a couple times with the overgrowth. He just wanted him to like go for enrage or something there, and then then he just double layer with enrage and silence. And you're like, oh, I don't have a choice now, huh?
Damn. Yeah, this is starting to come off the rails a little bit for Team Unique, and HellRaisers taking full advantage, pressuring this top tier 2 tower, and they're actually gonna glyph for this one. So tower is still gonna fall, and they will at least on the side of Unique try and take bottom tier 1, which they should get here. Maybe not. No, with the bugs thrown out and realizing there's people in the area and a glyph used, they're not going to even be able to get that.
In my judgment of how these lamps would go, I completely underestimated the value of Requiem in this situation.
Laguna Blade used and a grip as well.
Bug zapper.
Yeah, they get the kill and they get the tower.
I think that, like, in my mind, the arenas go down, and it's really hard for the Drow and the SF to contribute during the engagements. But the thing is that they actually aren't getting a lot done during the arenas because of the Requiem. Like, when he throws it out like that, the fact that, like, Evan doesn't want to BKB early necessarily either. So it's, the fights are actually quite hard to execute for Unique, whereas I thought they'd be a little bit easier. Sometimes I think we all take arena a bit for granted here.
Yeah. Slayer tries to get out. They'll blow up Bignum, but the TP away from the Disruptor gets him out of harm's way. And next round of Tomes up as well. So let's see how long the Roche respawn time is. DD, is it an instant seconds. 1 for Rebel? You think so?
Yeah.
50.
It's
still pretty short.
I just do it every time. I'll get the number eventually. What are my odds? 1 in 180?
Isn't it? Yeah,
Sounds
sure.
right.
Yeah, sure. That sounds good.
Let's see. How many games a season? How many Roches a game? Yeah, I'll get there.
The real questions being asked by Trent here. Oh, man. Team Unique are... I mean, they're in a little bit of trouble right now. It's this 4K gold lead, but really it's just how strong these heroes are with their items. You still don't have that BKB for Watson, which is like the kind of the big thing that they got to hold on to at this point. 10 seconds until Roche and a smoke up from Unique. Limitless there to break it, as well as Gilgear.
Hawk.
They see him. Dangerous. Find one. There's the opening. No Requiem immediately afterwards. They blow up the Beastmaster. Also able to catch, but there's going to be the grip on the other side. They find the SF broken immediately. Got to get out. Petishara trying to soak up whatever damage he can. Seven Jesu slowed. Dead by the boars. Dead by the heroes.
Dude,
and HellRaisers.
He got actually 2-shot.
Dude.
SF just walked in. One arm, he's womp, womp. He's just dead. He quite literally clapped him, you know? Just threw the hands together, and Slayer was just gone.
Dude, now they have a DD and pressuring high ground. I don't know. This is, HellRaisers. Despite the deficiencies in some parts of the draft, they make it work and are looking so clean in this game too. Just kind of like a game 1.
This is what this draft does best, right? I mean, look at that. Just like Drow, SF, both living through all these fights as well.
Yeah.
They just do so much damage if they can both just stand there.
And they try and finish off this Ancient Thunderhide also. And will eventually get it, so a nice chunk of gold, but the bigger win is going to be HellRaisers getting Aegis and a Shard.
SF shard.
Yeah, I don't know how you hold off against this now. This is going to be tough. Unique are going to need to pull out all the stops. How far are we from Ags? We're a long way from Ags, Trent.
That's an issue. That is definitely the key here.
Just another item.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah,
We got the ancient black dragon flying in here as well. Oh, I've got the winter pack on and it's pink. It's like pink and white. Yo, guys, you got to get the winter texture pack. BTS, please. Come on.
We'll put it in the back line. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
put some festivity into the event here. We only got one game. Come on.
Tier 1 tower, or Tier 3 tower rather, goes down, and Unique, how do you start this fight? How do you make any of this look any way that's good? Maybe they can kill. All right, they take down the Black Dragon again.
I think, to me, what's disappointing is that...
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Yeah, they were right about those boar slows, by the way, in that last fight, and how devastating it is for Ursa. It sucks.
Yeah. I mean, it's also like, I feel like Petashar is actually getting the correct target. Like, he is getting the Beastmaster.
Right.
You know? But the spacing's just been so good from HellRaisers. Man, he's just in your face.
Nightmare almost gets the one-shot out. Good arena. Watson, maybe in some trouble now. FN turns onto him. Look at him like the creep.
No. Oh,
FN, no, not like this. Not like this. Oh.
Dude, that Wild Wing Ripper.
Oh. Oh, no. FN didn't get him with it. Watson gets away. Still hanging on to that Aegis for 3 minutes. Ben breaks it now, but again, Gilgear there, breaking the smoke before the rest of the team can get in position. And now they've been able to find Gilgear, but Bignum is already dead. And the time lapse to walk away. Yule Scepter lift up. Oh my God. And now a glimpse back onto Watson. Will it matter? Do they care? Hurricane pipe away, which means the Aegis respawn is going to happen a little ways away. Jump forward, make them dead again. Rebel now getting jumped on. Sebajesu wants to make it happen. Good. LSA. Rebel maybe finally. No, they turn and kill him. And there's the Requiem. And with that, HellRaisers are going to take the game, take the series 2-0. Unique get brought down quick.
That was a nice looking game from HellRaisers. I mean, I love the confidence the last time we spoke to this team, and I think they certainly played with a lot of confidence here once more. Like, that game, the Ursa pick, I don't know if that was the hero. I feel like he had, he did okay in the lane, for sure, better than maybe expected, especially. But I think you could see that the kiting was pretty damn brutal.
Yeah, and I think that it sort of spoke to the bigger issues in the draft, which was just like, you know, if this works out, if we can get to this stage where Ursa is, you know, can jump on top of somebody and blow them up, then that's great. But they weren't able to slow down that draft. And for HellRaisers, I'm incredibly impressed because now you've shown multiple different ways of winning with this team. So that's something to be really worried about for other teams going forward.
Do you think Tree should be a concern? Are we going to see more of this Tree, or is it gone?
I think Tree is going to start getting snapped away. People are going to be banning that one. We'll see how it goes, though. But for now, we're going to end the broadcast here. Head on back to the panel. Let them break down all the action. See y'all after the break.
Fast series, guys. HellRaisers take game number 2, and because of the def win, they win the series overall 2-0 against Unique. To be honest, we talked about some of the weaknesses in the draft, some of the strengths, particularly for Unique, but in my opinion, it seemed like HellRaisers just looked a little bit better in the execution. They had a lot of fights where they just looked much stronger, and we didn't really see the whole Mars Arena blocking projectiles thing we talked about.
There was one fight that I really enjoyed from HellRaisers' side. It was when, so first, credit to Unique, they took Roshan at 12 minutes, which I think was huge for them because, they beat the timing of HellRaisers because that was what they were planning to do, right? They were taking over bot with Beastmaster, they were looking towards eventually doing the Roshan, and I think they had to give up a couple of heroes on Unique to get the Rosh, but that was great. But then here, as we can see in these highlights, the most important thing about this fight is that there is a ward from HellRaisers on that cliff. They are fighting fully under their vision, and Unique aren't. So this whole fight is just going so well for them because they see everything, they have the control, and they're able to fight into an Aegis and kill them twice.
It also felt like they didn't have any good answers to the BKB timing of HellRaisers. Like, unless Ursa was like super ahead or playing with an Aegis, they couldn't deal with it. Like, you can't rely on a Fiend's grip when there's enough ways to cancel it between Drow Gus, you've got the Beastmaster Roar, Trent we saw in that previous fight using his Overgrowth. Like, you don't really want to commit those big spells maybe for a grip, but it can win you the fight. And if Drow's not Fiend's Grip, she's just going to right-click down the Bane. So it just felt like BKBs on these ranged cores, Ursa couldn't just go running in because he'd just melt.
Yeah. They consistently stopped the Bane's Fiend's Grip, particularly the Mars was a big deal. Sorry, the Beastmaster was a big deal at doing that. The minus armor was ridiculous. And we were talking in the off-camera with a top-tier carry player, and he was asking, why is it that the Rabel just doesn't pick Lina? They had to pick first. But here I think we saw the strength of the Shadow Fiend, where Rabel just went ham. He went in. He had no fear for his life, just attacked everything, and he kind of styled over the enemy team. It was an incredible performance by Rabel.
Yeah, I honestly thought Unique's draft looked better. Like that's my bad, I guess. But when we looked at the execution, especially like in the fight in the top triangle, Mars initiated onto Beastmaster and they killed him, and it's like, oh, well, that's great. But then they just had the rest of the team to deal with. Ursa's getting overgrowth and like dealt with on the side. The supports are dying because there's so much damage output from Lina and SF and Drow. Like Bane was like gripping SF and then fell over.
Yeah, I think I like their draft too in Unique. I don't think it was just like straight up out draft. I think there was a big outplay element. The only thing about their draft I wasn't a big fan of was having these kind of 2 5-position range supports, the Disruptor and Bane. That made Drow SF so good because those are hard heroes to get to. Like Grip is much easier to cast on that melee frontline carry, whereas these are Drow SF who are sitting way far back. Similar story with Disruptor. These are not easy heroes to control. Kinetic Field does nothing against these heroes.
They don't care about it.
None of Disruptor or Bane's toolkit is good against those 2 carries, and that's why they picked them, because they saw these 2 supports and like, oh, there's a big weakness there we can take advantage of.
That's a really good point, yeah.
Thank you.
Because I've seen the Disruptor and the Bane before, and I've been like, wow, that's so much control, and like the enemy like really struggled to deal with it.
Yeah.
So like, I think your point is like perfect. Like these heroes just don't care, straight up.
But honestly, I think Unique's draft was still fine. Like they have Marzer, so they have ways to get to the back line. They had answers to drown SF, just not from their support. So it very much, I think, end of the day came down to HellRaisers playing better and being the better team.
There could have been a point as well that the execution by picking up the Ursa made it harder for them, right? Because the Ursa was all of a sudden, you have to jump the backlines. I can't use the arena to protect a carry that will scale, like, I don't know, say you pick the Sven, right? I can't use the arena to protect him in the early game and then mash you in the late game. I have to win the early, I have to rush this game, and that puts a lot more pressure onto them. Because a lot of fights seem forced for Unique a little bit, or they didn't seem as confident. So maybe it's not just their execution being better for HellRaisers, but also it was an easier draft to execute, perhaps.
I honestly thought Unique's was easier. I'll be real.
I know, I agree. That was the first thing Trent said too. He's like, man, HellRaisers are making life hard with these picks. Like, I don't think your draft was that like super easy. It's very much like it's hard. It gets easier once they got their BKBs. Like push BKB and right click people, and make sure that one of your teammates cancels Fiend's Grip. Like that was kind of the game plan. Once it got to mid to late game.
Yeah, I thought Unique's was just gonna be like, yes, we run in, we use arena, everyone in arena, then we use Disruptor ult, no one can fight, one carry gets a grip. Like now they halve their damage. Like it's like, yeah, this seems great. They have way more stuns, way more control. Like HellRaisers are like, we have overgrowth, 2 cores with absolutely 0 control. And like our offlane is a Beastmaster who's like, let's be real, if he dies, that's a raw gone. Like that's your BKB pissing disable gone. Like how are they actually going to control us? You know, I was thinking that this should be easy. I just played out completely differently. I'm terrible. Yep. It was. I mean, it was great. Like this is just like proof. Like HellRaisers, they had their strat, they knew how to execute it, and they did it really well. Very successful.
Oh, we're gonna have to ask HellRaisers themselves. We have to interview one of the star players of that match. It's Watson here on the mic. Hey Watson, how's it going, man?
Hello.
Hello, how are you feeling after that match? You seem quite happy with yourself.
That was very easy.
I
I don't know. First game, very easy.
Did you feel like the draft made it easier, or was it just you guys looked just stronger?
Yes, our draft was very good. It's our very good. We played with this draft before and we win. Our coach very good.
Okay.
You guys picked Drow and SF together, which I see the synergy between the heroes, but I always thought that they both like suffered to the same sort of thing of like jump or whatever. Was that just not something you guys were concerned with? Were you just like really happy with how those 2 cores play together?
Yes. It's like 2 carries. If I die, I know my mid player will kill them all.
So will you start picking 3 carries then, in case you both die? Maybe a third carry?
We thought about it, but no.
Too greedy, yeah. Can't get too greedy. Okay.
How
Yeah.
how has your experience been on HellRaisers now that you're in a Div 1 team? Are you guys gelling well as a team?
Yeah, we all very young players. We just play and chilling.
Do you play a lot
So-
of pubs every day together?
Yes. Pops, screams, then pops, then sleep.
You mentioned you're just playing, chilling, like, trying to, I imagine, trying to improve and stuff. What would you say is your goal for Season 1 of DPC League, so for the Winter Tour?
Major.
Major? Yep. And do you think there's a very good, like, do you think there's a very high chance you will make it to the Major with how you are playing?
Yes, I think we beat Virtus Pro. Right now, Unic. 2 teams left, so I think we have a very good chance.
Awesome.
I wanted to ask as well. You guys, when you guys pick Shadow Fiend, is that something that you flex on your team, or does your mid, or do you guys always play it like mid? Because I know some people have been playing it safe lane. What do you think of safe lane SF?
It's secret.
Okay,
Good
that's
answer.
fair.
Good
Yeah,
answer.
yeah.
Don't tell.
Sorry, don't reveal.
Watson, how are you gonna celebrate this victory? What do you guys do together after you win? Do you play more pubs?
I go sleep a bit. Then I think we have a scrims.
Okay.
Very tiring games, yeah. Especially the game 1.
Game 1
Yeah.
was hard.
That 70-minute techies game, that was horrible, yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, we're very boring.
I'm sorry it wasn't more exciting. Hopefully your next series is a bit more, exciting and competitive in the sense, like, obviously there you had a good opponent, but yeah, I hope looking forward to seeing you guys next week.
Yes,
We'll try.
thank you, Watson, for your time, man. Congratulations on this victory, and as God said, we hope to interview you again next week. It just gets easier from here, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
That's this is what I expect from Eastern European interviews.
I like it
You ask
easy.
him, easy, honest.
Yeah.
What do we do? We scrim, we play pubs, we sleep.
They prepare an entire week for this team, expecting a best of 3, and then they have one game that goes 25 minutes, and it was pretty straightforward. I imagine they expected Unique maybe not to be the toughest opponent in the region, but the fact you only end up having to play one game and it's a straightforward game, they're probably like, oh, what next? What do we do now? We've got to wait another week.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm concerned by the fact that he said sleep. Like, what happened to this 3 games? Was he, like, when was the last time he slept? But, they looked really good. HellRaisers looking like a really up-and-coming team, and they're giving me, much like PuckChamp, they're giving me a little bit of the Team Spirit vibes of
You
new
can't just say
players.
that, bro. Remember when OG won TI and everyone was an OG team afterwards? OG was, wow, that's an OG-esque team.
Can
Whoa,
I
you
finish?
can't
can
say
I
that.
finish
You
my?
can't say
Can I
that.
finish my point?
Ah!
Young players, yeah, a lot to prove.
Please, I'm
Very
sorry.
aggressive here.
Sorry.
New blood into the scene. That's what I'm saying.
That sounds OGS. Some real up-and-comer guys.
Right,
Power of
I like
friendship,
it.
something,
Well,
something.
Yeah, but OG, they said that about OG, like up-and-comers. Yeah, like Seb.
Whatever.
Seb was an up-and-comer. Notil, he was new to the scene when he won TI.
I swear to God, every TI winner is just like, every team is like, yeah, it reminds me of that TI winner.
Yeah, but for the OG, it was a ridiculous thing because people
Yeah.
just didn't know Seb had played for 10 years. People forgot Notil won 3 majors, so it's unfair. I don't think
I
the same
think
thing.
people could describe teams as OG like when they had a few veterans with the young bloods, because OG's formula was let's pick up like unproven pub stars.
Exactly, which
Was
is
it-
every
With the
single team.
Wasn't you,
Yeah.
weren't you just OG-esque if you played like mildly aggressive and weird? Like OG would just
Sure.
like jump on you and run at you with like tops and mid. So anytime anyone ran at you with mid, it's like, whoa, the next OG! Holy, this is the next spirit. Oh, wow. They have young players. That's great. There's no one's ever seen this before.
There's a lot of hostility flying around in this panel.
I cannot
I'm not vibing with this right now.
When HellRaisers win the next major, Sheeple, can I shave your head?
You can shave my head.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, okay.
Go
I am pumped. I am going to be applying to be the opposing team's coach, and HellRaisers is going to win every single match, I guarantee you that. But we have more matches today, not just HellRaisers. We have some Div 2 matches. We might see some Team Spirit-like teams there as well, as Fantastic Five is duking it out versus Windstrike. We will be catching that match on this very channel, so if you're interested in that, please do stay tuned as we wait for the next best of 3 to begin. We're going to take a rather large break, and we'll be back with the Div 2 matches for EEU. Windstrike versus Fantastic Five. See you guys then.